Hey folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our book for today is Fright Night. This is the 7th book in the Ghosts of Fear Street series by R.L. Stine. Now there is danger, near-death experience, magic, an evil wizard, a haunted suit of armor, a ghost knight, being turned into a snail, and a curse in this one. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Oh, and a bit of betrayal. Forgot to add that. There's that. And spoilers. Alright, so here we are, another R.L. Stine book. In another series I've never read before. Man, Mr. Stine has a lot of series. I've actually recently looked. Whoo boy, there's a lot of them. But they all seem to have pretty much the same concept and children in the same age range. Which, I guess they couldn't all be Goosebumps, right? But the concept is pretty similar, though. I guess their commonalities are supposed to be different. Well, supposed to anyway, but so far it's quite similar. Anyway, let's start with the cover. I love this cover a lot. It's really cool. Look at the night. That is awesome right there, isn't it? There you go, Fright Night. I'll play on words probably too. I love the green. I think it's also supposed to... I don't know if you can feel his suit of armor, you know, where it's, looks like there's a bit of maybe dents in there. Maybe not. Not dents. Not the right word. Anyway, I really dig the cover. It's very cool. Oh. Alright, let's get to the story then. So, in our story we have a young boy. He's 12 years old. His name is Mike. And he lives on Fear Street in this, what was it, Shady Side, something? Well, where did he live? Just 1 second. She's got a very interesting name to this place. Maybe it's here. No, it's not here. Ah, buggers, what was it? I think it's what, Shady Side? You know what, I'll leave it up here on screen so we don't waste time right now. Okay. Wait. Technical difficulties. Or prop difficulties. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'll leave it on screen. You've already seen it to save us some time. Alright, so he lives on Fear Street, and his dad bought a big house there. And he opened a museum of mysteries. It has room for coffins, for mummies, for weapons, and all that. His dad really wants to make this a success. Mike's mom died when he was very young. He also has always an annoying sister who's a year younger than him. Her name is Carly. Yeah, I think Carly's how you say that. And so there's him, his sister, his dad, and Mr. Spellman, who's the... what was he called? Ah, fuck, what was his, outside of the repairman for the museum, or the carer of the museum. Takes care of things, fixes things, puts them together. So they are now waiting because the kid's uncle, they have an Uncle Basil. I don't know if it's mentioned whose brother he is, either the mom's or the dad's, never mind though. He's going to send them a haunted suit of armor for the museum, and his dad hopes it'll make the museum a huge success and get in the people, or else they're going to have to close. So his dad also had another endeavor in the past that didn't pan out. So his dad and Mr. Spellman and him are excited about this. His sister, not at all. She doesn't like all this stuff. Anyway, the suit of armor arrives. And Uncle Basil has said that he has a special gift inside of it for Mike. So it arrives, they pull it out. The delivery men put it on the porch. They open it, Carly puts her hand in and gets caught. Her bracelet gets caught on the glove, or the gauntlet of the knight. She starts yelling because she thinks the knight grabbed her. But no, it wasn't. Also, his dad feels in, and he seems to have grabbed something he wasn't expecting. And it's this really pretty pendant with a blue marble. Now, Mr. Spellman and Carly try to grab it, but Mike's the first one to reach it, and he puts it on. And it's very pretty and everything. So, they get the suit of armor inside. You know, Mr. Spellman says did you know the story of Sir Thomas? And he was this evil knight who was cursed to forever be inside the suit of armor. Anyway, yeah, they put it, the dad's really excited, and now they're just waiting for the museum to make a grand opening with it. So they eat dinner, the kids do their homework, and they go to sleep. A bit later that night, Mike wakes up, he hears thumping sounds. He's like, could it be? Is the suit of armor, is the ghost real? Now, in this book, the parent is actually excited about weird shit. Normally, the parents don't believe the kids or think it's nonsense, and here the dad wants it to be haunted. He wants these things to happen, which was hilarious. We'll get to that later. So he goes to investigate. He's in like the night, as he awoken. But it's just Carly. She's in the kitchen, and she used a broom to knock, on the ceiling to scare Mike. Oh yeah, the way their house is built, like the downstairs is the museum, and then upstairs is where their actual kitchen and everything is. So it would be separate. So Mike calls her a jerk. But then he says, let's go and see where the suit of armor is. Let's go see it if the ghost is real. Because he scolds Carly and he says, what if Dad woke up? He thought it was a ghost, but he found out it was just you. And Carly does look remorseful over that. She doesn't want to disappoint her dad. But anyway, the kids go in the darkness, the museum, go through the rooms, and when they get to where the suit of armor was left, it's no longer there. Carly is scared now, as Mike is also like, where did the armor go? Now, I immediately assume that probably the dad or Mr. Spellman moved it. That was my assumption. Anyway, the kids keep looking for it. Now there's a conservatory in the house, outside the house, I mean. So they go in there. Now the dad can't use this part of the museum, and he's repairing and everything. And it's very huge, apparently. So he goes in there. He and Carly go in there, and they find the suit of armor in there. It was like Mr. Spellman or the dad, they just put it there. It's displayed on a horse. All the weapons, the medieval weapons that his dad has, they're all, on the walls there, which I wondered how, because conservatories are normally made out of glass, right? Unless I'm thinking a greenhouse, but wouldn't that be the same as where you can grow plants, right? So, doesn't it normally consist of glass? I suppose you can somehow make shells with that too, but oh well, not important. Yes, they see it there. Mike has an urge to go take a closer look, so he goes up to it. Carly tells him, don't do it. Don't touch it, you promised Dad you wouldn't. But he still goes. He climbs up the ladder that's on the side. and he peers into the helmet, to this part here. And it's all black, and then suddenly a bat, a huge bat appears. I'm not sure out of where and if it's supposed to be a magical bat. It's like huge with teeth, red eyes and everything. And it flies into his face. Mike falls backwards. He's gonna be a bit sore in the morning, but it's fine. And he's like, what was that? Carly says, ew, a bat. And it's never explained if it was a magical one or if it just appeared. Weird. It looked like it was more of a blood, I don't know, a blood bat than a, you know, there's a lot of species of bats are fruit bats, fruit eaters. So I don't know. Yes, after that, Carly's like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. So she leaves. Mike stays a bit longer, looks at the armor, and then he decides to go as well. Wondering, is the armor haunted? So he makes his way back inside the house. He walks through the rooms, but then as he tries to leave through, you know, the door. The door's been, someone shoved the sword into the door. And he's like, who did it? Carly passed her just a few minutes ago. It couldn't have been her. It's a really heavy sword as well. She wouldn't have been able to lift it. And he's freaking out. So he realizes he has to go back through the conservatory to get out, to go into the kitchen. So he makes his way back. He passes the suit of armor. He's like, okay, nothing to be worried about. But oh, no, the suit of armor is in fact haunted and cursed. And the knight rises, goes behind him, and he's like, you evil wizard. And Mike's terrified. What? So the knight thinks that Mike is an evil wizard, was just transformed himself into a little boy to deceive him. And he is about to attack Mike, but then because Mike is really into knights. He says, wait, rules of chivalry, you can't attack an unarmed man. So Sir Thomas grumbles, and he's like, alright, choose your weapon. So Mike grabs a shield and a mace. Yeah, he grabs a mace, I think. And Sir Thomas also grabs a mace. Obviously, what's Mike gonna do? He can't lift these weapons very much. He's just a little boy, after all. So then Sir Thomas takes his mace and he pounds on the shield. And Mike thinks that's it, he's done for. But no, it's just the pendant he's wearing with the blue marble saved him. It made the knight's mace, Sir Thomas's, break. And so he's fine. Mike, that is. There's a dent in the shield, and Sir Tom has been thrown backwards. Now, no need to celebrate too early, because, you know, it's gonna be dangerous. It's still dangerous. Mike starts to make a run for it, because, again, what is he gonna do? Can't really fight this night, can he? So he runs back, not through the door he was intending to, but back into the lower floor, to the floor of the museum. And keeps running. He runs into the kitchen. I know, he does go through the door he wanted. He runs into the kitchen and hides behind the island. He's like, what do I do? What do I do? But there's a catapult in there. And the knight barges in, takes the sword, he makes a cut into the table. And Mike's like, oh no, but he manages to run to the catapult, and he launches it. And he hears a big boom, and the knight's armor just fell apart. It's now in pieces, and Mike is very confused. Like, the stone that's in the catapult, it's made out of paper mache. It's not real. So he's like, how did that, how did that manage to get him? He even lifts it up. Yeah, light as a feather. So he starts to celebrate. Like, yeah, I did it. But then his dad comes down and his sister too. Ooh, and the dad is angry. He's like, Mike, I told you not to touch the suit. He's like, if the knight didn't kill him, ooh, his dad sure looked like he wanted to. But then, you know, like normally in stories like these, when the kid starts to tell the parents, or the parent, you know, it was haunted. The suit of armor was haunted. The knight was chasing me all over. But before he starts telling that, Carly laughed. She said, see, it's because of the giant bat. It scared him, so he's been running around knocking into things. So the dad listens, but instead of either not believing him or getting angry, he gets super excited. He's like, this is wonderful. That means the suit of armor is haunted. We're going to make a mint. It's so funny. Because early in these stories, the parents don't believe. Yeah, they think the kid's just making it up or something else. And here the dad's like so excited about it. He's like, yes. And he's not listening to Mike, who says, the knight almost finished me off, Dad. And he says, well, great, I'm going to call the news stations in the morning and everything. So they go to sleep, the dad and Carly. And so does Mike, because, you know, what else is he going to do, really? But he still hears noise, like the hooves of a horse. So the next day, straight after school, he runs home and runs to the conservatory. He's like, I need to talk to Mr. Spellman. And Mr. Spellman are pretty close. He's like this elder gentleman, definitely older than the dad. And he goes straight to him and he tells him, you know, about the knight and everything and how he thinks he destroyed the ghost, perhaps. Because the armor fell apart. And Mr. Spellman says, you know, maybe don't tell your dad. You know, why disappoint him? And all of that. Oh, yeah, sorry, he doesn't run to the conservatory. He finds Mr. Spellman in one of the rooms. So, Then later on in the evening, he starts to hear voices again. Yeah, it's already night. He starts to hear noises again. He goes down. He's sure it's Carly. She's the one doing this again. So he goes back into the kitchen again. But there's no Carly there. There's no one there. So he's grabbed, but it's Mr. Spellman. And he's like, come on, I'll go with you. I believe you about the ghost. So they go to the conservatory, you know, very slowly. And sure enough, our knight is there, and he tries to attack them again. And they have to run, and, but Mike spends and saves them again, and makes all these weapons start to rise and fight the knight. And then he gets closer to him and summons a lot of them, and then boom. As an explosion, and the suit of armor just falls apart again. And this time it seems to be for good. That's it. Sir Thomas is gone. And Mike is very happy. You know, yes, he did it. And suddenly he hears another voice. It is the voice of Mr. Spellman, but he doesn't sound like himself. And, Mr. Spellman is an evil wizard. I said he was a wizard. Which, yeah, if you go back and think about it, Mr. Spellman, there's your clue right there. So yes, apparently Mr. Spellman has lied. The story he told about Sir Thomas was not true. Sir Thomas was not an evil knight cursed to be in his armor for all eternity. Mr. Spellman's an evil wizard, and he cursed him. And the curse is that every 100 years they have to fight. And, you know, when Mr. Spellman defeats him, or his name is Mardrin. Every time Mardrin defeats him, he has to go back into the suit of armor for another 100 years. And what happened was Mr. Spellman was about to take, or Mardrin was about to take the pendant. But because Mike reached it first and put it on himself, he couldn't take it back from him. But now he has unwittingly defeated Sir Thomas for him, And now, Margarine can take back the pendant. And Ike's like, oh no, and Mr. Spellman starts to transform back to his Margarine self. And you know, Mike is horrified and can't believe this. Like, holy shit, that's a twist of events right there, isn't it? So Mike doesn't know what to do. You know, Mr. Spellman tells him how he's been waiting for them to face off. And it's not clear what would happen if Sir Thomas defeated him. I mean, what would happen to Mordrin? It's like, I don't know. Now, you think that's it, right? Mr. Mordrin would leave. Sir Thomas has been defeated, but no, he's going to get rid of Mike because of what he saw. And I'm thinking of, dude, for what? Who's gonna believe him that you are a wizard? Who's gonna believe the kid? And I mean, just give it 100 years, he'll be dead by then anyway, right? Is it really that much of a hassle? Just move to a new place. But yeah, anyway, there's like, no. He's like, how do I get rid of you? He said, I'll turn you into a mouse. And so he has to say a spell 3 times for it to work. So he starts to say it to turn him into a mouse. But before he can say it a 3rd time, a suit of armor appears again. Like a fake, tin one that the dad had. And it goes up to him and tries to fight him, swings a sword at him, and it makes him lose grip of his staff, and the marble that contains the magic falls from it and breaks. And smoke's all around it. Now, Carly's in the suit of armor. She wanted to play a trick on her brother again, and she was there, and she saw what happened. She didn't want her brother to turn into a mouse. Of course, she said, so our cat Salem doesn't get sick. I forgot to mention they have a cat. But it's only mentioned the first part of the story in here, so I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah. The marble breaks and falls. And Mike's seeing that Mardrin's, fanatically searching there. What's he looking for? And then he sees it. It's a little golden sword. Mike jumps and grabs it before Mardrin can. And it starts to grow into an actual size sword in his hand, and he gets this golden armor. And then a fight ensues between him and Mardrin, who it turns into a dragon to fight him. But, Thomas. Mike wants his sister to tell him, but, she can't see in the suit of armor, really. She can only support him from the side. So when he fights Margin as a dragon, and he's about to shoot fire at him, Carly runs out, and she has a fire extinguisher, and she uses it on Margarine. So it works, and he turns back into a wizard again, to a man again. And he's like, that's it. I'm going to now, he's fighting him with a sword again, and then he's trying to use magic. So he begins to utter the spell, and these purple balls start to appear and go toward Mike. And they also make him very sleepy. He almost falls asleep. He has to tell himself not to, and Carly also yells for him not to. So he manages somehow to use the sword and just kick the magic balls away from himself. And they all go to Mordrin. And they all surround him and suffocate him, and he's turned into a but he turns into a slimy purple snail. Well, Mike even approaches him, he's like, ugh. And then he just slids away to live eternity as a snail. I wonder if he's immortal no matter what shape he is. Anyway, the two think, ask Carly, where'd you come from? And she admits to him she wanted to play a trick on him, and their dad isn't home. So I wonder where he is. Like, it's night again. Where did he go? Oh, well, never mind. Not the dad. Then, when they think everything's over, suddenly there's, Mike finally sits down, you know, poor kid, he had a long fight. And then the glove, Sir Thomas's gauntlet, grabs the sword from him. And then he starts to be built again. And the two kids are scared, like, oh no, he's going to kill us. But no, Sir Thomas does not want to kill them. He apologizes to Mike. Because of the pendant, he assumed that Mike was the evil wizard Mardrin. They was just using a form of an innocent child to distract him. So we hear the real story. Sir Thomas was in love with Mardrin's daughter. And he wanted to marry her, but Mardrin wouldn't let them. Because he wanted his daughter to marry a far richer and more powerful man. And so he cursed Sir Thomas to be in the suit forever. The suit of armor. I wonder if so I guess that means the daughter's not a witch then. And not immortal too. Is she? Well, no, I guess not. Yes. Right, so now that's it. You know, it's like, who defeated Mardrin? And Carly points at, it says Mike did. So Sir Thomas is very grateful. He knights Mike, and he becomes a knight as well. And then that's it. Sir Thomas disappears. He's finally free. He can finally rest in peace. He'll never forget them. So later they tell their dad everything that happened. It's like, who would have believed it, you know? I guess we forgot about the grand opening. So yeah, that's it. But then there's a knock on the door. And someone yells it's from the same delivery company. So they leave another crate on the porch. And it's from Uncle Basil. So they're all weary, you know, like, what? They don't know at first. They're all weary, you know, like, well, oh man, what's this from now? So their dad reaches in and pulls an envelope. Mike grabs it, opens it. It's a letter from Uncle Basil. It's like, sorry it took so long. Here's the armor I bought for you and sent. I'll see you all soon. And inside there's a suit of armor. So this suit of Sir Thomas wasn't the one they were waiting for. Which makes me wonder, does that mean Mordrin used the fact that he knew the uncle was sending them a suit? So he could get this one sent in? Because in the first crate there's no letter from Uncle Basil. I do wonder. It's not explained. Well, rarely it is in these books, but yeah, I guess he knew. Either that or very convenient timing. Whichever you prefer. So yeah, now they have two suits of armor. But then Carly says, look, Mike, there's more. And there's, they pull out, there's another package in there. That's because the uncle said he was sending something extra for Mike as a gift. So they pull it out. Mike opens it. He's a bit weary, but it's just a t-shirt that says, what does it say? I've been to England, and all I got you was this dumb t-shirt. Wait, let me read that to you, because that one, I can actually find pretty easy. It's like way in the ending, obviously. Okay, just a moment, let me... Yeah, there we go. My uncle went to England, and all I got was this dumb shirt. Yeah, you probably known about these kinds of t-shirts. I think they're quite popular, maybe. But yeah, so, there we go. That is the end. Surprising, I was expecting, I don't know, maybe Mardin appeared again as a snail or something on his bedside. That's what I was kind of expecting. But yeah, overall, this was a fun ride. I really enjoyed this book. It went a lot quicker than the other ones I've read, story-wise, I mean. Things progressed rather quickly. And also, you know, pretty new with the parent, because normally, like I said, they don't believe, or you know, obviously they're not excited. And here it was new. It was new, but it was very fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Wish we got maybe a bit more of the Sir Thomas, you know, a legend, the real one. But yeah, there was definitely cut down on the, you know, not really get like a couple of normal interactions for the character, you know, at school or stuff like that. But nah, that doesn't really matter. I really enjoyed reading this book. I think I'm definitely going to keep it. It was a lot of fun. I would totally read it in the future. I mean, hey, we had some medieval stuff, dragons, magic. I like that kind of thing. So yeah, that's it. Let me know if you've read this one, folks. So what did you think about it? Did you read any other books in the Ghosts of Fear Street series? What are your... yeah, do you know about the series? The one I hear about most is Goosebumps, essentially. But not about any of these series. Alright, so that is it, folks. Now remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube.